guys have Leon asked, do you guys have different speakers every day? What's your dream setup? It was funny. I was like so set on getting these Focal Canta 2s in this beautiful Carrera white. It's all white, right? With the matching center channel. Retail is like, I don't know, 16,000 or something like that. Right? 10,000 for the pair and then another 5 for the center channel. Center channel wouldn't fit in my TV stand. That's the first thing. And then the speakers needed needed a lot of room, right? And they were like this big, like 20 some inches deep. And I was just like, it really just isn't going to fit in my space. And then I got these Focal bookshelves. And then this guy over here, this guy brought over his magic beans. And I was just like, man, I changed up all my shit. Like I changed up my thinking. If you have like halfway decent speakers and like good room correction or even just custom room correction, you're going to have it's like spending, trust me, like if I had a bigger space and had all the money in the world, I mean, I wasn't really going to pay for the Focal Cantas anyway. They were just going to send them over for me to review. But some of this like expensive shit really just isn't worth it. Like it really isn't worth it. I was on a Zoom call with somebody. He got the spatial audio disc and he's like, I tried it in my Kaleidoscape. It wouldn't read it. I'm like, hey, you got the fancy shit, dude. The $80 Blu-ray player plays it just fine. $6,000 Kaleidoscape won't. Yeah. So sometimes it isn't worth paying all that money for some oh shit, she got diagnosed with bronchitis. Oh fuck.
That's no good.
Sometimes it just isn't worth it, right?
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. And here's the thing. We get to test out lots of different speakers. We get to go to places where they have very expensive speakers. And there's no one time where you hear something that you've never heard before from a speaker. There's no time where I've ever heard anything that's just like, it took me to another place, like all the stuff that they say. It doesn't do that. The limitations a lot of times is just the recording, right? So if you have a stereo recording, the best possible speakers, the best possible setup is going to be limited to the source recording, which is stereo, right? So do you think it's going to sound better than the guy who mixed and mastered it? They're in their studio. Maybe you have a better system than them. But to me, that's kind of the reference. If it can sound as good as their system sounds, then you're doing a good job, really good job, right? So beyond that, I don't know why I would want to spend any more money. You know what I mean? Like the limitation is not in the speaker itself. It's not like the mixing and mastering engineer heard it and it was like totally different, completely immersive and binaural and all this stuff. And then when you play it back, it's totally different. No, that's not what happens. So I don't see the reason to spend any more than a certain amount. I guess after a certain point, I understand that it's because of the look and the design and the build quality and all that stuff. Yeah, that's cool too. I get that. But that also has its limit.
Dude, RGA says it best here too. The listener is the biggest limitation.
Yeah. So, I don't know. How much gold do you want on that thing? What do you want it to be made out of a certain point? You want it to be all solid gold, the whole thing? What do you want?
Same guy designed the Arendals and the monoprice speakers.
Yeah, the monolith. Yeah, exactly. But again, so I have the monolith ones. I wouldn't mind the Arendals, right? Because he had more money to spend. They look a little bit better, right? So yeah, I wouldn't mind those. And then a step up would be from Arendal to per listen. Would I like the per listens? Yeah, I'm cool with those too. I wouldn't mind also the Polk Legend L800s for that SDA technology, right? I think that's a pretty cool thing. So I like something that does something different. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to buy a speaker just for the heck of it. I wouldn't mind, I guess those MBLs are expensive, right? Those omnidirectional ones, those are expensive,
Mm-hmm.
like super expensive. What else?
What was I gonna say?
Mm.
Um, yes, we get to try a lot of speakers. I've tried a lot of speakers here, and really, it's about like whatever it is you're listening to, watching, you know, and you like certain things. Like I like a little bit more bass. We're talking about DJing, electronic music. This guy WA in here was talking about doing some, DJ session stuff. Which I used to do during COVID lockdown. Until if I try to do it again, they're just gonna block me. But the funnest part about it is I called it Subwoofer Workout Saturdays, and everybody that was watching, like, they just loved the fact that they were getting like this experience of like, holy crap, like what is going on here? It's never been like this. Like, so when you're, choosing your speakers and like trying to figure out what your setup's all about, just like understand what it is you like. What is it you like to listen to? And kind of tailor your speaker purchasing, to that. I like a lot of bass, right? And when I'm DJing, that's when I'm listening for kick drums and hi-hats. That's really all it is. Kick drums and hi-hats. That's all I'm doing. I'm listening for kick drums and hi-hats. So something on the low end, something on the high end. There's a vocal in the middle. If I just I'll layer a vocal on top. Like that's all I'm listening to. And when, again, going back to the, Magic Beans, I had towers and I had two 15-inch rails. And then I was just like, oh, once Joe time aligned the subs and stuff, I was just like, oh, I don't need towers. I can get rid of these things. Right. And then I went to all bookshelves setup. I'm like, oh, this is so much better. And that's also, you don't have the eyesore. I like to call it the visual space. It doesn't take up the visual space.
Yeah.
Of like this big thing that was taller than my TV, right? Because these Martin Logans were like taller than TV and all that kind of stuff. So, having to do all this stuff with speakers and stuff like that, I just, come to understand that, like, I don't really care about just listening to music in 2-channel with no subs, and it just has to, just full range speaker tower bullshit. That doesn't matter. Not anymore. I'm done. Yeah. I'm done with that. Yeah. That thinking is gone. It's getting the room calibrated properly, getting the subs time aligned with my bookshelf speakers, and that's it. And I have fucking dogs, man. Do you know how many times with those they're beautiful. The floor standing versions of the speakers I have, right? I have the Focal Aria 907. I had the 926s, amazing speakers. Magnetic grills. What happens when the dog runs by the speaker? Fucking grill pops off. Because they brushed against the grill and just boom. Damn. Do you know how many times I had to get up to go put the damn grill back on? So like there's all these other factors, Yeah. If you're in a living room situation, it's
well, you start to learn what really matters and what doesn't, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You start to see like, okay, I want it to measure well. I want it so that it's EQable, right? Certain speakers are not EQable.
No,
right?
They're not.
If they have bad directivity, that's not good. You just want it to be so that whatever is happening in front of the speaker is very similar to what's happening off axis to it. And if it's not, it should be a smooth transition, right? And though that will give you a speaker that you can fix, right? So even if it doesn't have a perfect frequency response, you can go in there, DSP it, and get it to sound however you want, right? Without that, you cannot, right? And then you want deep bass extension. You want it to play loud enough. These are all basic things. And I've found concentric. I like what concentric does because of how it interacts with the room physically. And that's something that you also cannot, change with EQ. So you want to look at stuff that is based on how it interacts with the room, based on physics. You know what I mean? The things that you cannot fix. Because if everything else you can fix with DSP pretty much, right? If it's not a physical issue, for the most part, you can fix it with the signal processing.
After every Monday podcast, we have an after show. If you're interested in joining us, go to patreon.com/daily HiFi.
The 22 Target products that are surprisingly expensive. All right. You ready?
Okay, let's see.
All right, here. A cocktail table. Is this it?
That thing?
$2,200 for that. $14,000 for this one?
Get out of here.
20-foot artificial fur? No, this can't be real.
Nah, that's
hey,
not
look,
true.
Joe, that's your chair. That's your chair. 24.
No, that's the freaking Morpheus chair.
stylish rug. $4,000. What? No way, dude. Oh, what is it? A Garmin watch?
Bro, they don't even. I've never seen these things in my life.
No way. A slip and slide for $600.
What is this? What is the site you're on? Oh,
this is cheapism.com.
Yeah, they're just throwing out random stuff. There's right there. That's ChatGPT 1.0 that produced that. They produced that list.
Oh man.